this. All right, good morning, everybody. Today is Friday, May 5th. Happy Cinco de Mayo for those who do that. Now, let's see what we have today on the charts. Hopefully, you can see my charts. As usual, we'll be doing analysis for US 30, gold, and EU. Unfortunately, so majority of this week I've been on vacation, so I did not do any markups for yesterday and for today also. So yesterday and today we've been or we'll trade without any markups, but yesterday we did catch an amazing sell on US 30 right here on the live session. So this was the trade yesterday. It's the biggest move we've ever caught on US 30, 150 pips. Regularly, our TP and stop loss is normally 50 pips TP and 50 pips stop loss, but yesterday we went for 150. The reason for that is because we had some trend lines, and the distance between these two trend lines that were established trend lines was about 100 pips. So we wanted our stop loss to be all the way above here, but the trade went into some just slight drawdown, and came back straight to TP and then went back up. So that was an amazing trade for a gain of 0.5% for the month. I'm sorry, for the week so far. So we didn't trade, of course, Monday through Wednesday because I was out on vacation. So what do we have to do on US 30? We just had NFP a little while back, but what I'll do now, I'll just go and draw our trend lines as we wait for price to stabilize, because remember, we don't trade the first 10 minutes of market open. So I'll draw this right here. So that's the trend lines we have on the 5-minute. On the 1 hour, this is what we have. Also, it's Friday. We really don't want to force anything. So if we don't get any trades, that's good. I mean, of course, it's not good, but there's no need to force anything. So right now for US 30 on the hourly, the trend line that I'll use for the upside will be this one, because ideally when drawing trend lines, you want to draw a trend line that's closest to where price is at. And you can see right now price is rejecting, or should be rejecting from here. So here you should have an opportunity to catch a quick, so remember, for static trend lines, you normally have an opportunity to opportunity to catch a snipe from that zone. So it should be, but I wouldn't advise you to catch a snipe like for like 50 pips or so. So here, if you want to sell, make sure just do like 20 pips, just go for 20 pips. There's no need to go for a higher lot size. But I'm not calling, it's not an official trade. I'm calling on the live session. I just want to show you how price, when it gets to a static trend trend line, it normally has a quick rejection, and you can see that rejection to the downside. I took some trades during FOMC, so ideally I'm break even for the day. I'm sorry, NFP, so I'm not really looking to do too much. So this is what I was talking about. So if you do like 20 pips, you'd have already hit TP. And right now US 30 is bullish. If it was bearish, I would have said go for the full TP. But right now US 30, this would be the quick sell for just 20 or so pips. But I'm not going to count that as an official trade. It's just something I've shown you guys how you can play static trend lines. Let's see, what else do we have? Give me one quick second. Okay. All right. I personally entered that trade, the sell. I entered a little bit late, but I'm not going to count it as a win, even though it hits. The reason for this, it is a risky trade because US 30 is fully bullish. And the best entry so while trading established trend lines, you only have one shot and one shot only most of the time. So you want to wait. So this right here would have been the perfect entry. So let me show you. And the trade we are going, or the trend line we're trading against, is this hourly trend line right here, because you can see from this lower high to this lower high. And for this one, this would have been the trade right here. You could have gone, and for these trades personally, I go for like a huge lot size. Because ideally my TP is normally a smaller TP. So this would have been the trade. No need to get in if you missed it. And again, I'm not going to count it as an official trade. This is just to show you guys how to trade established trend lines. So 20 pips TP, 20 pips stop loss, and there you go. You could have gotten, just waited until price touched here. You don't have to wait for closure above or below, and that could have easily gotten you a quick 20 pips. So if you're in this trade and want to keep, because definitely price can reverse, because remember this is a static trend line. So if you're in this trade and you want to just try and ride it out, so remember here, no, but this trend line on the 5-minute was already retested. Yeah, I would say set break even or just manage your risk accordingly. So that's US 30 gold. What do we have on gold? I really don't see any meaningful trend lines on gold other than this one on the 5-minute. I don't have anything from the upside. See, US 30 definitely fully bullish. That's why I'm not really looking for that sell. Gold, I do see is bearish. EU is bearish as well. So gold on the ups, what trend lines do we have on gold? Possibly this one. That one on the upside. On the downside, yeah, so I don't see any trades on gold today for now. I caught gold on some of my other accounts. I caught the sell earlier before NFP. EU, EU, this is, yeah, I mean, I don't like that trend line. Yeah, so for EU and gold, I don't see any trades. So during FOMC today, the pattern that I normally talk about, right? So this was the FOMC candle. So yesterday I'd got in also a reversal. I'll go over the reversal that I got in. Unfortunately, I did get stopped out on that one, but so the NFP way that I trade, what am I looking for? I'm looking for this. So you normally look, so today there was a bearish candle, right? So, and ideally you want to wait for the first 5-minute candle, for the first 5-minute news candle. So if news is at 8:30, you want to wait for the 8:35 candle to close. So once you get that, today we did have a bearish candle. So what I did, since we already had a bearish candle, what I expected is for price to go back up. So when we got this bearish candle, it wasn't as bearish as I wanted it to be, because you can see this is the candle I'm talking about. You can see it had a wick at the bottom. Ideally, during for this strategy, you want to have a strong bearish or strong bullish candle. But ideally, here we got a bearish candle, which was the NFP candle. So what I did, I waited for this candle to close and I bought US 30 down here. So, because normally what I would expect is this slight retracement to trap buyers and then move all the way back down. Now, for me personally, I did this and then I bought US 30 here. I actually entered into 2 positions at the open of this candle. And both positions I closed out. Yesterday I entered a reversal on USD CAD, but it did hit stop loss. So I made these 2 buys I entered on US 30 during NFP. They just got me back to slightly above break even. Now, normally what happens, right? If that pattern plays out, you want to then get into a sell on the close of the next candle. Now, today I did not enter the sell up here. The reason for that, and that's why I tell you guys access to this tool. So I have this breakout scanner here. So during this breakout scanner, for US 30, it showed me there was a breakout after NFP. So literally after, when I was about to enter the sell for NFP right here, because normally that's what how I would play it. Because I was about to enter the sell here, I looked at my breakout scanner and my breakout scanner told me that US 30, same thing like right here for Euro CHF, there's a breakout. So US 30 told me there's a breakout, and it told me ideally you'd be looking for buys. So at that point, I'd already closed my buys. But I decided, you know what, let me just let it go instead of getting trapped. I'll just let it go. But yeah, normally, more times than not, this pattern will play out. Yesterday during, what news did we have yesterday? Was it yesterday? No, we had FOMC. Yeah, FOMC on Wednesday. So FOMC didn't respect this pattern, and of course the opposite is true for like a bullish candle. So these 2 news events did not respect these patterns. This one did respect the retracement, but price kept going to the upside. FOMC as well. I think FOMC only What did we have for FOMC? I think FOMC was also a sell. FOMC also continued to the upside. So you'll have like a couple of times where this pattern doesn't play out. But if you have access to this, like this indicator, so this breakout scanner today saved me from losing the second. So I won the buys on US 30 based on my analysis. But when I was about to sell here, I looked at my breakout scanner, and my breakout scanner told me that US 30 was breaking out to the upside. And you can see right now US 30 is breaking out. Yeah, so some of these tools will help you, apply as a confluence. And the way to use this breakout scanner, you can use it to catch a reversal. So for example, right here we have GBP AUD is breaking out for a sell. So there's two ways to interpret that. Yes, and I'll go over the example we did yesterday for NZD CHF. So GBP AUD, I come to the 5-minute, it's breaking out for a sell. So what this will tell me is that two things. Let me get the indicators here. What this will tell me, so that's the 9 EMA. So right now, GBP AUD is more than likely going to dip. So what this tells me is that a trend is about to start, because this breakout scanner scans for a trend. So when I see something is breaking out, I go ahead and do my markup, and I'll do that for, actually, let me do this for what we did yesterday, because it already played out. And I already sent it in the group. NZD CHF. Hopefully those markups are still there. Okay, I can transfer it from there. NZD CHF. Okay, so this is the NZD CHF. So yesterday we got a breakout. What was it? Breakout and buy for NZD CHF during the live session, which was around, I think it was around here, somewhere around here, before I did the area of interest. So price was somewhere around 0.55700. So what I said is that what this tells me is that I can enter into a buy, and then I can write price up. However, personally, I'm using the breakout scanner not to follow the trend, but to catch reversals. So I identified my area of interest. And for me, I'm not interested in any sell signals that will show up within a 50 pip radius from my point of interest. So I wasn't going to sell here, but I mean, I could have made money, but still, I'm sticking to my confluences. So I wasn't going to sell here. I wasn't going to sell here, because these two sells showed up within the 50 pip. Now, if you chose to buy, you could have changed to buy only. Let me see if I can replicate this on an actual, on this. No, let's see. EMA, that's the 9 EMA. Let's try and replicate that. My point of interest was there, about 0.55473. 55473. So around here, this was my area of interest. And then again here, I wasn't interested in any uh, 50 pips from here was about 984. Excuse me. So 50 pips trend. All right, trend. And then what I would do here, I would change this to sells only, buy and sell signals. I thought, give me 1 second. There's something I'm missing. Just 1 second. Oh no, that's a reversal. Okay, perfect. Okay, I know what happened. Now I need the reversal indicator right here. Perfect. Breakout pips. I think I said 50. This is 9. Okay, 59 and close. I'll remove this. Okay. So that's what we had yesterday. I said for this one, put it about 30 pips for FX pairs. So on here, the buy came, I think the buy came before the live session. So here I was only interested in sells, so I would turn only the sells. And then I'm not interested in any sells that show up. And then I think here this was fast MA. Yeah, this was fast MA. So I'm not interested. I wasn't interested in any sells that showed up within this 50 pip radius. So I wasn't going to sell here. I wasn't going to sell here. And I wasn't going to sell here. I'm sorry, I wasn't going to sell here and here, but I saw this sell that showed up here. And this sell is, let's see how many pips, 473. So this is a 500, like a 70 pip move. So when I woke up this morning, I just decided to see how this analysis had played out because we marked this up yesterday and price was somewhere around here. And then price went all the way up. So here I saw this sell and I said, okay, this sell makes sense. But by then price was somewhere around here. So right now I am in an NZD-CHF sell from around 0.56142. And then I'm going for 50 pips TP, 50 pips stop loss. Is it 50 pips? Yeah, because I'm ideally going for double what I would go for. But keep in mind today is Friday. The other thing you want to be careful for is Fridays ideally heavily manipulated days, as you've seen in the last Fridays, because last Friday we got manipulated out of GJ, and then on Sunday GJ just dipped. So again, this is just a trade that I took based on that analysis for yesterday, and I'll just leave it running. And so for this US 30 trade, this is why I said you only had one shot to go for 20 pips, and you could have made 20 or so pips. But again, I didn't call this trade live. This was just a demo trade to show you guys that for an established trend line, you can easily go for 10 or 20 pips, so long as this is the first time that established or static trend line has been tested. So for example, here, since we would have already made 20 pips, but by then it was a little bit too late. But if we had already made 20 pips, that's it. You wouldn't try to resell US 30 again up here because it got to the hourly trend line and then gave you your quick 20 pips and then went back up. So remember, for any static trend lines, if you're going to, and right now US 30 is bullish. I did say US 30 was heavily bullish today. So especially if you're counter trending, you only have one chance and one chance alone. So like right now, if you see that, US 30 already retraced from this hourly trend line and give you like 10 or 30 pips, when US 30 comes back up there, or whatever instrument you're trading, do not try and double dip. So take your money, be done with it. Now here, what you can do, since this hourly candle is closing above this static trend line, now here we can look for buys in any case. So these are potential buys now we can look for because the trend is bullish. We have this hourly candle that's about to close above the established or static trend line. And then what we would need is just a retracement and retest of this hourly trend line. And this looks like it's going to align with the structure and also align with the trend line. So remember, when you're entering any trade with any of my strategies, ask yourself, where is the 9 EMA, where's the trend line, and where's the structure, or where's the high low? And then find the most optimal point of entry between those three things. So right here, you can see the 9 EMA and the high low are close to each other. So of course, the first point of entry would be the trend line. The next best point of entry would be the high-low period, or the point of structure, which is ideally close to the trend line. The best entry would be the retest of the 9 EMA on the hourly. So so for me here, I would be looking to enter on the retest of the trend line. I'm not sure price is going to go back all the way back down. If it does, the retest of the 9 EMA on the hourly will be where I would scale in a trade. So this is the buy right here on the hourly, and I think it also lines up with, we also do have this trend line on the 5-minute. So this trend line on the 5-minute is around 33,429, which I think will line up with the retest of the 9 EMA on the hourly. But let's see how the hourly closes, and then we'll see if we can get any trade. Gold is, I don't see any trade for gold. There's a death cross coming on the hourly. EU, I don't see anything. And also today, I don't have any markups. So today I'm only trading based off of trend lines and based off of EMA and high lows. So we made money yesterday doing that. So no reason we can't make money today. But if we don't get a trade, so remember Fridays ideally when we do feedback. So if anybody has any questions regarding anything they're struggling with, feel free to unmute yourselves and ask. Also, I need to reprocess or reset up the subscription services because apparently I was using Square and looks like they don't support subscription services or something like that, or club memberships. I don't know, it's something in their fine prints. So I went ahead and refunded everybody that subscribed to any of these products, but I'll still give you that access since it was like an agreement between you and I. So whether you'd subscribe to the indicators or whatnot, I just refunded you your money, and then you'll have access to, ideally I did say anybody who subscribed to any of these instruments. I did put that yesterday in the chat or in the general chat. Anybody who subscribed to any of my instruments or any of the subscriptions will get an all-inclusive access for this month alone. So that's just like a thank you to you guys. So for the people who are lucky enough to get in before the I had to take down the checkout links. You guys will still have access to my charts, and beginning Monday, that's when I'll go back to doing the order block markups and supply and demand markups on my charts. You guys will have access to the signals, or you guys already have access to the signals already. I put you back in there, and you guys have access to what else? I'll also give you access to this breakout scanner right here. Where is it? Breakout scanner. So I'll give you access to this too. Yeah, so for the people who are lucky enough to get into the subscriptions yesterday before I had to take down the payment links, you have, ideally for free for this month. For those of you who did not get to subscribe, I'm hoping to have another checkout merchant or vendor over the weekend. So I'll upload this. So I already took this page down, the subscription services. So I'll do that. I think I'm having a call with a merchant actually, maybe in 5 minutes. So I'll go ahead and get another merchant up, and then I'll update the links, and it's going to be the same promotion. Anybody who subscribes to any, of course, the cheapest, it makes sense to subscribe to the cheapest. So anybody who gets any of this subscription for this month alone, for any subscription this month alone, you'll get everything. So you'll get the full package, which ideally would be $200 a month. So it would ideally make sense to go for, if you just want the all-inclusive for this month alone, it ideally makes sense to just get either the 99, either the signals, either the indicators, or the charts access. Yeah, but I'll get another merchant and hopefully have a new link for you guys to today or over the course of the weekend. Okay, yeah, so today's Feedback Friday, so feel free to unmute yourselves and we can go over anything you guys are struggling with as we wait for this hourly candle on US 30 to close.
Hey, thanks for the explanation. So I was wondering, I saw on the explanation you were doing, you marked out the arrow for 50 pip trend, right? But then on the reversal settings, you put the breakout for 30 pips. Isn't it meant to be the same? Isn't that setting meant to be the same as the amount of pips you're looking for the trend to be? Or is that wrong?
So yes and no. So the thing with this reversal, it has a lot of, how do I call it? It has a lot of safeguards built in. So you see, like source here, you have the fast MA and you have the close. So built into this indicator is also some rules to prevent false signals. So you're right. Yeah, here ideally should be 50, but see, for example, if we do 50, sometimes you'll miss the actual signal that you're looking for. 50. So that didn't make any change. And I think yesterday while doing the demo online or doing the demo during the live session, we figured, because even here, if I put 100, we really won't see any change. Let's see. That takes out that. So the sweet spot for you for FX pairs is 30 and 40, right? This 50 right here, just draw it on your chart so that, so remember, as much as I've had this indicator built to trade how I would trade the reversal, if I was
Yeah.
trading it by myself, like there's still some, the coder put in like some rules in there to prevent some false positives. So this is why it's important to draw this arrow. So identify your area of interest, because sometimes, okay, like let me give you an example, right? So you see, like even here, if we do even the 50 pips, let me give you a good example. You'll see that this cell right here, the distance between this cell and this cell is definitely not 50 pips, because ideally, this, the next, if there was a previous cell, the next cell should show up 50 pips after, right? But you can
Yeah.
see from this cell right here, it showed 3 more cells that were definitely within the 50 pip radius, even though we put it in here, right? Yeah, so in here, the sweet spot for to get good signals in here is 30 or 40 for FX pairs. For US 30, it's 50. The other thing you want to play around with is the moving average. I'm sorry, the source. So close ideally would trade how I want it to trade, but sometimes you might want to do fast MA. So play around between, so this 30 to 40 for FX pairs here, just only in here, for the reversal indicator. For US 30, 50, for gold, I need to because I haven't done this on gold for a while. I think gold might be 52, and then play around with the source and fast MA. Now this buy and sell delay, it's if you change it, so let me zoom in. So
Did you
this
say US 30 was 50? I
yeah.
thought it was 150 before. No? Or
No, it's only, so it's one, I know, I know what you mean. So but in here for the reversal indicator, it's 50.
okay.
I'll go ahead and explain what you're referring to. So this right here, and then the buy and sell delay is ideally the candle that you want the signal to show up on. So if you do 0 here, it will show up on the first candle that closed below the 9 EMA. But based on our strategies, we want a candle to close below the 9 EMA, and then we want the next candle to also close below the 9 EMA. So if you want the buy or sell signal to show up on the second candle, then here you just you put 1, and then you can see here the sell moved from this candle up here to this candle down here, which is ideally our strategy. So for the, and I'll definitely make a video for this indicator settings. So 30 in here, 30 or 40 in here for FX pairs, and then 50 for US 30, and I believe 50 also for gold. Now the part that you're talking about for US 30 is here. Let me get a, so we had this closure above the trend line on the hourly. So we need this hourly trend line to be retested. So ideally we want US 30 to come back down. So remember, for any static trend line, if that trend line is broken, price will almost always come back to retest that trend line. So unfortunately here we don't, I wish I had my bearish markups, because I can see a possible sell to go back down. Give me one quick second. Try and do, okay, so let me find for US 30 something. I know what you mean by 150. So there's two settings, right? So these are the settings within the indicator itself. The rest that you're talking about is for example, this one right here that you draw 50 pips. So this right here, so for US 30, if I get a maybe clean US 30 chart, maybe get a trend. Okay, I think I see a possible trend here. So here we had this point of interest. So you want to identify a point of interest, which was here. So the last time price was above the 9 EMA consistently was about here. You can ballpark it, it's fine. Okay, so now this is my point of interest, right? Or area of interest. Now, the next thing I'm looking for, since that's an area of interest, and ideally you start establishing, or you start visualizing the trend after it has started happening. So this was during NFP. Was it NFP? No, FOMC. So you could have seen this. I mean, it's not a good trend that maybe I want to see like a nice, okay, this is better. Because ideally we probably didn't even have news. So this was my point of interest right here. Area of interest. And you would only know to mark up the area of interest because maybe at this point, so if I do the replay right here, if you're on your charts and you see this, you can automatically see this is a trend, right? Right, because you won't know a trend has happened up until it started happening, right? So if I was on the charts right now, or at this point of the day, I would have seen, wait, this is a trend forming. So I would come up here, draw my area of interest, and then I would do the arrow thing right here, and then say, person, and this is just how what I consider a trend. So for me, a trend for US 30 has to be anything that's 50 pips and above. No, I'm sorry, 500.
Oh, okay.
500
I was about
pips.
to
Yeah,
say I thought it was 500. All right, then.
yeah. So what is 34,000? So I'll just call that 34,000. So what's 34,000 minus 500? It is 33, 500. So ideally, I am not interested in any buy that comes up anywhere here, right? So this is right here, 500 pips. So I am not interested in any buy. And right, and based on our reversal, let me see. I don't think the reversal is in there, so I'll put my scripts, reversal. So here 50 for US 30, I'm using the 9 EMA, and then I apply that, and then I'll come in where J Trading Club, reversal. Oh, we already had the reversal, actually, never mind. I'll turn that on. And then I'll come in here and say, I am not interested in sells, right? Because I'm looking for a buy because this is a reversal. Now you can, now, if you have access to the breakout indicator, you could have easily caught, because I'm pretty sure here it said like right now, BTC is a buy, it's breaking out to the upside. So that's how you interpret this. And now for those of you who had subscribed, I'll give you access to this indicator today. I've just been dealing with that merchant that messed me up. But anyway, so here I'll come in here. I say I'm not interested in sales because sales can also I'm sorry, I'm not interested in sales because ideally here I'm looking for buys. I set here 50 and I set here 9, I set here close, and then I let price do its thing. So if we keep going, so let's see, keep going. So price has already met my threshold. Price trended for 500 pips. And let me know, oh, I'm looking at the hourly right here. So right now I can start looking for buys. So if I'm on the charts, I can either wait for the buy signal from the indicator, or I can wait for closure above the 9 EMA and then retest and closure above the 9 EMA. So, you know, at this point, right, this is even better because ideally I want price to trend as much as it can because the reversal will be a good reversal. And there you go. I get the buy signal. I come in here, long position. So I'm doing 100 pips. So I'm doing double what I would do. 100 pips TP, 100 pips take profit. Okay, and then keep going. So I would be in the position, and then price is going. And there you go, full TP for that one. And for these reversals, you can even go for 1.5 or 1.5 times or 2 times the amount you want of the TP, and it will still hit. But you know, hopefully that makes sense. The distinction between doing the settings within the reversal indicator and doing your own settings outside the reversal indicator. So remember, as much as you have these settings in here, you also, for an additional confluence, you need an area of interest. You need to mark yourself up for the trend so that if you get a buy, so for example, if you got, because the indicator could have easily, price could have broke up above here, faked out for a buy and gave you a buy signal. And at that point, if you just took the buy, you'd have been burnt because price would have more than likely kept trending to the downside. But does that make sense? The difference between the two sets of settings you would need. Well, not the two sets of, because one is a setting within the indicator itself, and the other one is just common sense setting, if I put it that way, for yourself. It's just to protect yourself.
But I think you didn't explain what that had to do with the 150.
Oh, so the 150 yesterday, so I hadn't traded US30 in a while, like with this trade trending. So ignore the 150. So replace 150 with 500. So
Okay.
150 now, okay, now let me give you an example. So 150 now is for gold. So if this was gold here, same settings in here, 50 in here, 50, 9 EMA, play around with close and fast moving average, because sometimes US, so ideally here you want to back test what works for you. So if you have access to this indicator, go ahead and back test, because ideally you can easily identify a trend if you're backtesting. So play around with the fast MA, play around with the close. You don't really need to change the 50, and then play around, ideally play around with the source and play around with the delay. Now for gold, so those are the settings. 50 in the reversal indicator, 50 breakout pips for gold and US30, and source, just play around with close or fast MA. Now for your own safety, for the markups for the reversal, it's 500 pips for US30 and 150 pips for gold. Now 150 pips for gold is like a $15 move, right? So the way I personally identified this trend was just basically also by experience trading all these instruments daily for the last 3 years. So I know, like for US30, 100 pip move is nothing for US30. It can easily be covered by 1 5-minute candle sometimes, or 2 5-minute candles, right? For gold, a $15 move, which is 150 pip move, that is a long, that is a trend to me, because like a 50 pip move on gold, I wouldn't consider that as a trend. And also you want to look at how long, because for me, I'm basing the trend off of how long has price been consistently below the 9 EMA, right? Simple as that. So 150 for your own settings, for your own markups, 150 for gold, 50 for FX pairs, and 500 for US30, if that makes sense. Hopefully that answered your question.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so this was a good, so I think I caught this because this came in yesterday. Exit here. So you can see we really, so, this is just a matter of patience, and keep in mind, what else do you see here forming? You see a possible golden cross forming on the hourly. So it's fine. Even though price keeps going up, let it just go up. Keep in mind, when a golden cross forms, and this is even better for us, because when this 9 EMA comes, it will intersect with the point of structure, so a high-low entry, and intersect also with the trend line. So we'll have 3 entry confluences in one. So if US30 keeps pumping up, in any case, I wish I had my bullish and bearish markups and supply zones, because I would be riding US30 to the downside now, because we definitely have a golden cross coming, and you normally have a retest of the 9 EMA when a golden cross is forming or when a death cross is forming. But we'll just wait and see how it goes. And yeah, does anybody else have any questions as we wait for US30 to come back down? All right. If not, we'll go over the last 6 questions. Yesterday I said last week we had gone over.
I have a question.
Okay.
On the reversal strategy, did you test on like the way some sample the way they move? For example, I saw that you are in this trader NZD shift.
Yes.
It's the first time you take it on the with the reversal strategy.
Yes, this is the first time I'm taking it. And to get into this trade, we use this we use this indicator, the scanner, because yesterday we saw a breakout to the upside. So yeah, so this is the first time I'm taking it. But if you have access to this indicator, you can easily catch a reversal or a breakout easily, like 1 or 2 a day, because right now it's telling us that GBP NZD is breaking out to the upside. And keep in mind also for this scanner, I'm only showing it right now live because my payment systems are down. I'm not going to be showing this on the live session because it won't be fair to the people who have subscribed. But yes, this is the first time I am taking the NZD CHF, and actually I will scale into the NZD CHF sell. You know what? I'm not gonna scale in because the price is literally now. If this sell, if price had gone up and then I got the sell somewhere around here, I would have entered a bigger sell up here. But right now the sell is, you know, around where my entry is. So I'll just leave that. If you guys want, feel free. Now I will actually call this as a trade on the live session. So this is a sell for NZD CHF with a 0.5% risk. And yeah, give me 1 second. What? Yes. All right.
It's 50 pips stop loss, huh?
Yes, 50 pips stop loss. I have a think like I don't know if NZD CHF is in the area of like GJ. You see like how GJ 10 pips on GJ is not like 10 pips on EU. So I'm not sure if NZD CHF is the same, but yeah, but for me I've put 50 pips stop loss. I might start looking into the pips comparison between some of these assets because this looks a little close to me. But yeah, it's 50 pips stop loss, 50 pips TP. So I will send this. So that's a minor. Man, for all the forex miners, these things have hit stop loss. But you know, it's fine. Selling. Actually, you know what? Give me 1 sec. Why was this? GJ had done 50 pips. I done 100 pips. Maybe let me see how much 100 pips on NZD CHF is. Because definitely, if it's the same as GJ, this is interesting. Huh. I think NZD CHF is kind of heavy as well compared. Let me see 75. Because 100 looks a bit too much. Oh no, that's 750 right there. Yeah, this looks much better. 75 pips, 75 pips TP, 75 pips stop loss. You can still use 50 pips if you want, but you know, of course, use proper risk management. You can still use 50 pips and risk the same amount of money. You can still use 75 pips and risk the same amount of money. So just do proper risk management for that trade. TP and stop loss. Risking 0.5%. Okay. Oh, probably need to retake this screenshot. What's your study doing? And there you go, it's coming back down. And you can see also it's being held by the 200 DMA. Look, let me take a screenshot of this again. Send this. Copy. Where's that? Go ahead and edit this. Okay, and you can see the idea behind this is like, right, avoiding all these fake outs, because we had, I think I'd changed this 30. I think I had this as fast MA. Yeah. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Play around with fast MA and close, because sometimes you'll need to use either or. But you can see the importance of having this threshold right here, because if you went into the sell here, this one you'd have made money, but price would have kept trending up. And remember, yesterday the breakout scanner told us that NZD-CHF was breaking to the upside, which is why we identified this trade. Now, I wasn't comfortable taking, I need to test how to take the breakouts or trading with the trend with this indicator. So I really don't want to get you guys into a trade that I haven't back tested. But yesterday we got that NZD-CHF was breaking out. So what that means is that NZD-CHF was more than likely going to trend to the upside. And since I was looking for reversal on it, ideally a sell. That's why I marked up my threshold of 50 pips up here on the outside, so that I wasn't interested in any sells that came out in this zone. And now this sell made sense, which is what we are currently in. Does anybody else have any question before I go over this attitude survey, the last 6 questions?
I was gonna ask, with the fast and the regular, what have you noticed the differences are? And why do you say, obviously, to interchange between the two? So why isn't one more reliable than the other, if that makes sense?
So close is ideally based off of my, how I develop the strategy, right? Because ideally for me, I want a closure above and retest and closure above, right? So if you use close, that is my whole strategy. Now, fast MA, the coder put it in there, or the programmer put it in there so that it can, when you have periods when price is spiking up and down, it can take off the signals around there. As much as we also have the squeeze filter, it just when price is acting irrational. Now I've found that for US 30, is it vice versa? I think for US 30, let me try and remember this. For US 30 lower time frames, I think 5 to 15 minutes, 5 to, and I'll give you confirmation. Excuse me, I'll give you confirmation later. But I think for US 30, it's either one way or the other. But for like US 30, 5 to 15 minutes, it's better to use fast MA, or better to use close. Yeah, better to use close. And then the 30 minutes and above, it's better to use fast MA and maybe delay of 0. I'll give you the actual, actually I took pictures. Let me see, and I think I journaled too. I'm just not sure how far back it goes. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can get that for you. This was before my vacation. Let's see. And I also think I journaled that. Let's see. Trading lessons right here. Okay, so I never journaled that. I need to journal that. Let me get those screen grabs for you. Okay, perfect. Here it is. So for FX pairs, breakout pips of about 40. So I said 30 and 40. On the 5-minute time frame. Yeah, on the 5-minute time frame for example, EU. So FX pairs, breakout pips. So I'll do it this way. So like 5-minute time frame, breakout pips here is about 30 or 40, 9 EMA, and then close for the 5-minute. And I think it also depends on, okay, yeah, close on the 5-minute. And then delay of 1 for US 30. This should be about 50 and 9. So for US 30, this would be 50 breakout pips, 50, like on the 5-minute breakout pips, 50, 9 EMA, and then source would be close as well. And then buy and sell delay is 1. The 1 hour on Euro USD or FX pairs, this would be 10. Breakout pips is 10. Breakout EMA is 9, and source is fast MA. Delay is 0. And I'll give you guys all these settings. I think I'm still back testing it. That's why I haven't set that up. And then US 30, I don't think I ever got something for US. But the idea is the higher time frame, the higher the time frame you go. So here mostly I use it on the 5 minute. And I think the reason the next best time frame above I was looking at was the hourly, because the 15 minute and the 30 minute was a lot of false signals. So let's try doing US 30 on the hourly with those settings. Or was that EU? Let's see, EU. Yeah, let's try doing EU on the hourly. Yeah, but it's a lot of like back testing in the back, and then you just find something that makes sense. So Euro USD, let's go on the hourly. Also, I see on USD CAD on the hourly, we do have a trend, that trend that took me out in negative. Actually, you know what? Let's do USD CAD. Because USD CAD, I am looking for a buy, right? The reason for this is that price has been below the 9 EMA consistently. So here for USD CAD, we would be looking for, so let's see how long this trend was. This is 379, and then above, so this was like a 379. Yeah, so this would be considered a 50 pip trend, right? So here, let me see for higher time frame, and that's the 1 hour, and that's USD CAD. So for FX pairs on the 1 hour here, I have 0. Here I have 10. Here I have 9, and here I have fast moving average. So you can see that takes out, that gives you the nice sells. And here, because this would have been a trend, like in my opinion, this would have been a trend, because the last time price was below the 9 EMA consistently was 348. So 500 pips above that would be 848. So price already met the threshold right here at 848. And then price kept going up. So right here, I would be interested in sells only. And you see there was that sell that triggered right here on the hourly.
But why is it 10 pips though? Would it, if it's on a higher time frame, surely the number of pips should be higher, right? Because higher time frame, the ranges would be a bit longer than the shorter ones.
Right. Ideally, yes, that's what you would think. But based on my own back testing, it's should be lower.
Okay.
Yeah. But if you find it's work, because I never got it to work, like if I do 60 here, sometimes I found that it was taking off the proper signal. So that's why I did 10. And keep in mind again, like like I explained before, sometimes this indicator is giving consecutive cells that are below the threshold. You know what I mean? So yeah, so I found that the higher the time frame, the lower the pips to use. But in this case for USD CAD, you can see there's no difference. Let's try doing both buy and sell signals. Give me 1 second. US 30 is coming back down. Let's see. Okay, both buy and sell signals for 10 pips. Let's see. So we had a buy down here. Let's see if we did this to 70. If anything would change. So that buy went away. So I think the reason I found it was lower is because I was looking for both, because ideally at any point you'll either be looking for a buy and for a sell. So if you backtest, like for example here, if you're looking for sells only, you could have seen that, hey, this was a nice trend to the upside. So I was trying to also catch the lows. And also, for example, here, I would love to see a buy here, because we had this big trend to the upside for 50 pips. So I don't want to miss buys here. So that's why, you know, going higher, I found that it was taking away those buys and those sells. So that's why I started seeing lower entry points. So I'm guessing here, if I put 5, I'll probably even see a buy. So I guess, wait, if we do close, there it is. So let's go back to 10 here. So that's why you have to play around with close and fast MA and see what works for you. So you can see right here for USD CAD, if we use close, and remember, so if you're always safer with close, because close is ideally going to be how I would take the reversal if I was trading it. So long as all the other confluences have been met, there's been a trend of 50 pips for FX pairs, a continuous trend, and then you have your point of interest, you'll always be safe with close. But fast MA takes away some volatility signals away. So, but you always be safer with close. So just start off with close. The higher the time frame. So here you see we said 70, we'll get rid of this buys. So that's why I'm doing 10 for myself, but definitely play around. This is not, even for me, I'm still learning this because it has a lot of extra features built in. So you need to find your nice sweet spot. So I would say go on the 5-minute time frame, zoom out, and then play around with these two settings. So right here, we can even play around, do 1 and see how that's going to change. So if we did 1, you can see we are losing like this nice buy that we had down here. So that's why on a 1 hour time frame, I'm using 0 so that I'm catching the lows for a buy and I'm catching the highs for a sell. So like this one right here would have been a perfect trend for USD CAD. Automatically, I can tell this is more than 50 pips. So what I would be waiting for here is a buy signal that shows up down here. So if I was using fast MA, that signal wouldn't have fired. Well, actually would have fired down here. Let's see. Yeah, would have still fired. So I guess it also depends on where it's firing. So anyway, the moral of the story here is that the values I give you guys for these indicators are just values to start yourself off with. So if you've used EAs, just think of them as default values, and then go back and back test. Because ideally for all these signals, if you zoom out of a chart, you want to see sells being entered on the highs, and then buys being entered on the lows. That's all you need. And then just, play around with this. It's only 3 values you need to play around with. You don't need to change the 9 EMA. So you only need to play around with the buy and sell delay, the breakout pips, and then the source. You can use the buy and sell filters if you want, but I don't see a reason to use them for this particular indicator. Yeah, so just do that. Use what I've given you as a basis, and then go ahead and improve that, because that's gonna help you even better. Any other question regarding any? So for USD CAD, I am looking for a buy signal on the hourly. So I entered a reversal here yesterday on the 5-minute. Unfortunately, I entered a buy here, but I got stopped out. But this buy did make sense. It's actually Livy. I don't know if Livy is in here. I don't know if you entered that USD CAD buy.
Yeah, I got stopped out last night too on USD CAD. So
yeah. So this is the
whenever it
buy.
does reverse, it should be big, I'm assuming.
Yeah, so this is the buy I entered yesterday. Olivia and I entered yesterday, but it gave us a little bit of profit, but we got stopped out because ideally here is 550 pips and 50 pips, and you can see we got stopped out just this time. Now for this other buys, I wasn't going to chase this buys, because when you get stopped out of a buy on a reversal, that means, right, because if I kept chasing here, I would have gotten faked out. So at this point, this is why now I'm moving to the hourly on USD CAD. So I'm no longer interested in the 5. Maybe I can do the 30-minute, but I found that 30 minutes as well have some, 30 minutes you can get something, but I'm more interested in the hourly. So right here, I'm looking for a buy signal on the hourly for USD CAD, and then I will enter even with a larger lot size. But even just back testing it, you can see USD CAD is possibly completing structure. You can see we have path, we have this structure to the upside, this. So USD CAD is likely to come back down here. This is the next point. You can see we do have some support here, so it can definitely bounce from here. But based on how far price is away from the 9 EMA, I do anticipate USD CAD to come around, what is it called? 1.33800. Yeah, but I don't care. Actually, I want it to sink so that when I catch that reversal, I will catch a nice reversal. Does anybody else have any questions?
So you're saying that if the setup on the 5-minute got stopped out, you then zoom out to the 1 hour instead of re-entering?
Yes. Either 1 hour, you can do even the 30. That's just my own way. You can do the 30-minute or 15-minute, but it has to make sense. You know what I mean? So for example, here, you can see how I would have gotten burnt if I kept buying and buying and buying. Okay, let's see what's up with the 15 minutes and see if the trade, if it makes sense. No, you don't want this. Now go to the 30-minute. Maybe I think the 30-minute was a bit cleaner. There you go. So the 30-minute, but even though you entered the 30-minute here, you would have been burnt too. I don't know the actual time this came up, but you can see that price had continued sinking. Because I think, Livy, we entered this yesterday, Like it must have been like 10 hours ago, and this is that we probably entered somewhere around here. So yeah, and that's why I'm interested in the hourly, because here the hourly takes all the fake outs away from the equation. So yeah. Yeah, any other question? Let's see.
You see with the screen grabs that you get where your coders identify the breakout and the trends. Is there any times you actually use that to generate any setups that go with the trend, or what has made you like just to focus more on the reversal than to actually follow the trend as well?
Okay, so actually the funny thing, if you think about it, catching a reversal is catching a trend, because you're catching a reversal after a trend is over. So ideally, meaning you're actually catching a reversal. So it's, I guess it's just semantics. But so the reason I haven't started trading with technically we're trading the trend with the reversal, but the reason I haven't started taking this breakout is this just got released actually a few days ago, and there's actually still a minor update that I need made to it, but I haven't backtested it. But yesterday on NZDCHF, it played out perfectly because we got the breakout buy on NZDCHF, and NZDCHF trended to the upside. But yeah, I'm still yet to enter any trades or trade with it. So that's the reason ideally why I haven't gotten a strategy down for it. So that's why right now I'm only using it to catch a reversal.
Just as a suggestion, like if you get a breakout on US 30 and you check and it's in a buy zone or order block, you're gonna take that, of course, right?
Yes, that would make sense. Yeah, because even today during FOMC, so for those of you who just joined during FOMC, I went over the pattern and I said this breakout indicator saved me from getting burnt with a sell on US 30, because I entered a buy based on my news trading strategy. I entered a buy, I made money. I was going to enter the sell for the continuation of the first 5-minute news candle, but when I came in here, I saw US 30 was breakout, and then it had a buy. Unfortunately, I'd already closed my buys, so I decided, you know what, I'm done for the day because I'm back at break even. So yeah, so this indicator saved me from getting burnt today on US 30. Yeah, but yeah, so next time, beginning next week, I'll, of course I do my markups every day, but this week it's only because I just got back from vacation and it was the end of the week, so I didn't think it was really worth it. It was, but I just needed a little bit more rest. But yeah, so if I see a breakout and I see and you're perfectly right, Livy. If we see a breakout and on US 30, EU, or gold, where I normally have my markups, yes, that would be perfect confluence to catch a trend. What else? Any other question from anyone?
This is random. I know you said you're working on the EA to trade trends. Is that what it's doing now, or is it still trading just basically a strategy? Even though I know what you said, it's kind of trends too, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, so it's trading the trend and it's trading my strategy. So the EA is like 60% complete. The only issue right now is that, so it's interesting, some of the features that it will have, because it's not averaging. So you see like how, so it's definitely, it's a hedging EA and also martingale. So you see how in martingale, for those of you who've used martingale EAs, if the trade goes against you, of course, it adds another trade, and normally it averages out the profits. Oh, I'm sorry, the TPs. So for this EA right now, it's not averaging down the TPs. So the TP from the first trade is different from the TP from the second trade, which I think it's actually interesting. But I also want an option to average out the TPs. So that's one thing it's not doing now, but it's being worked on. The other thing is that there's an option if, for example, you're in drawdown. So let's say you have a 0.5, you have 2 trades. So you have a 0.5 buy, and then you have another 0.75 buy, depending on your grid increment. So it has an option. If it gets a sell trend, to start off, instead of starting off with 0.5, which would be your initial lot size, it starts off with, so your last trade would be 0.75. So it would start off with maybe one lot for this, for now the sell, so that you're able to recover faster. I think it's good, but it's also dangerous. But also for some of these things that are new to me, especially with this EA, I want them to be as options. I do see the value of them. So that's some of the things that it's doing. Another thing it's doing that I don't like for now is that, so same thing if you're in buys, 0. Let's say you have 0.5, 0.75, 1, and 1.25, and then price comes back up and your buys are in profit, and then you get another buy trend now coming in, it would enter into another buy. So for example, a 1.5, which would be maybe somewhere in between your 0.5 and your 0.75 trade. So, but ideally, for those of us who've used EAs, normally any trades that are entered are linear. So you're not going to have a 1.25 trade being entered if there's a 0.5 and or a 1.5 trade being entered between like a 0.5 and a 0.75, if that makes sense. I do see the value of that, but I would also love for there to be an option for the EA to just follow linear trades. So no trade should be in between any other, or no high value trade should be in between low value trades. Yeah, so right now I would say 60% complete. I am hoping by this time next week we will have, or I'll have access to the full EA. But you know, so far so good. I showed you the the growth curve. So this is, you guys remember last week when I bought a challenge to just go hard on like US30. So this is the challenge I bought. And I went hard, but I closed early because it was around market open. But I made like 1K on, and this is E8, 250K challenge. I made like 1K, but the rest of this, honestly, it's just been trading EU and AU using the EA. And you can see the steady growth curve. So you can, it's not like I can make this up, because you can see this is, I went over, so this is E8, for example. I showed you guys other accounts, similar growth curve. This is a 20K challenge. I started doing the same thing with the EA. You can see the growth curve is still the same. And you can see this is the one that I'm doing for my friend. We started off with drawdown. You guys remember that one, those 2 days, I think last week when the signals were terrible. So we went into drawdown, and then I said, you know what, let me let the EA do the reset. And right now, actually, as of today, that account is up. I think I have just $500 more to go to get back to break even. So let me see that. So that it's a 50K account. Yeah, I have only $500 left to get back to break even. But you can see same growth curve. So this what I'm saying, and this year is ideally hands-free. But I said I'll be using this for account management. Because the way it's set up, it's bound to get people denied payouts if I do indeed try to sell it. But yeah, it's more it for everybody's safety and for value for money. I will just be offering either account recovery or account or passing challenges or whatnot. But I also need to get some legal documentation to protect both you and I if we do start offering that. But yeah, I like it. It's trading exactly. You can see the win rate, 86%. I don't know if here MFF shows the win rate. I think it's somewhere down below, but you can see the Sharpe ratio. This is what was only 20 days. I made about what was that, 4% return for phase one. So you can see it's ideally, and this is only running EU. Mostly I'm running EU, AU, and GJ. I'm not even running US30. Now, if I run US30 and Bitcoin, I'll easily pass challenges quicker because it's definitely going to use more volatile instruments. But for me I definitely need to do testing on US30, which I'm doing now, and I'll be doing testing for Bitcoin over the weekend. But ideally the growth curve shouldn't change. It should be the same. In any case, it should pass the challenges quicker. But yeah, so more to come on that. Any other question? US30 still does not want to come down and fill us in. And you can see liquidity is dying in the market. And today is Friday, so I do anticipate price to keep going up to God knows where. So
That's what I was gonna ask you. Since it's Friday, are we gonna stay in that trade, that New Zealand check trade?
That's a good question. So personally, I am staying in this trade. Oh, this is 1 hour. Yeah, personally, I'm staying in this trade. 75, this is a big distance, but of course what happened last week with GJ can still happen. But personally, I am staying in this trade. If I do decide to cut it loose, I will update that in the group chat or in the Discord. Yeah, but I'm holding on to this trade for now.
All right, cool.
All right. Anybody else have any question?
Yeah, bro, few questions.
Mhm.
You know when you said the pattern for FOMC and NFP
Yes.
like yesterday, you said you could reverse. So for USD pairs, you can do the opposite, right?
You say what?
So you know the pattern that you said for FOMC and
Mhm.
NFP.
Mhm.
Can that happen? Will that happen to all the USD pairs?
I haven't traded them, but yeah, I've noticed that happens on EU, AU. It should happen on ideally every pair.
What about US 30?
Yeah, so I've only ideally that pattern because mostly when I trade FOMC and NFP, I'm trading US 30. But I've noticed that pattern happens on gold and EU because those are the other two assets I trade daily. So it might be for USD CAD and the other assets, you might want to, or USD pairs because those are the ones that would more than likely get affected. But yeah, I would say back test and see if that happens. Now, the other thing that I noticed today, watch out for the 15-minute signals on these instruments because we had a odd USD and Euro USD sell signal like 2 hours before NFP. And you can see that EU and AU dipped heavy. So if I go here, Euro USD, and I go on the 15-minute time frame, 15-minute time frame, you can see we had a sell signal right here. So watch out for, if you have access, and this is the high-low plus trend indicator. So we had a 15-minute, oh no, I'm sorry, this I'm still, actually even this was a reversal. But let me show with the indicator I'm talking about. With this indicator right here, high-low plus trend, is it still loading? There it is. I don't want all of this. And also with these indicators, you can turn off like super trend, you can turn off ATR so that it removes all these lines on the charts. Buy sell, this is the sell signal I'm talking about. So be mindful of, and I would say maybe the 15-minute time frame, the sell and buy signals that come up maybe an hour. There's 15-minute sell and buy signals that come up maybe an hour or two before FOMC, NFP, and CPI. Just pay attention to them. Because right here, I actually rode this sell for me in one of my other accounts before NFP. Or if, what was it? Yeah, today was NFP. So just be on the lookout for it. Some of this signal. So go ahead and back test. Go to find FOMCs, find NFPs, the maybe the last 5 FOMCs and NFPs. Choose one asset, go to the 5-minute time frame, see what the signal did before then. Go to the 15-minute time frame, see what signal was there 2 hours before, and then in future, based on your results and whatever time frame, go ahead and look out for that particular signal in future. Because here I've noticed this in the past, like the previously it used to be the 5-minute, but if you can see even the 5-minute, I think would have won, but the 15-minute is ideally more stable. Yeah, because we had a sell on the 5-minute as well before NFP. So yeah, go ahead and back test if you have access to these indicators. Back test the news reaction on some of these signals. All right.
Yes. You know when you said about the hourly, what do you mean by the hourly time frame? So before, like 2 hours before the news, you'd look at the hourly.
No. So 2 hours before the news, I'll go on the 15-minute time frame. So
All right. So
yeah,
yeah.
15-minute time frame or 5-minute time frame. So back test those two time frames and then do the math on how many signals won on the 5-minute time frame 2 hours before news, how many signals lost, and then do the same thing for the 15-minute time frame.
Yeah.
And then
Another thing. Yeah. So let's just say you don't want to trade the news. So how many minutes before should you stay out, and how many minutes after should you stay out?
So for news trading, so wait for the first 5. So if news like NFP today was 8:30, wait for the first 5-minute candle. If you're trading my pattern, if you want to be careful, wait for the first 15 minutes. So wait for the 8:45 candle. So if news is at 8:30, if you want to be safe, wait for 8:45. If you want to trade my strategy, of course, we get 2 entries, one at 8:35 and the other one at 8:40.
All right. And with the with CPI, is it similar or is it a bit different?
CPI for me, CPI is a continuation. So CPI, I don't try to catch reversals. I've noticed that CPI keeps going. Now, the thing with CPI, it does reverse. So sometimes it depends. Let me read. Let me get my journal because sometimes it depends. Let me see. Okay, so I have in my journal that NFP data follows results, then recovers. So during the New York session or before the New York session or during the New York session, and then follows results again. So let's say the NFP results were terrible. Ideally, you would expect price to shoot down. So if it shoots down, previously I didn't have that new strategy and okay, let me put it this way. Previously, I didn't have that strategy of catching both ways, but just by reading this journal that NFP data follows results, then recovers, what I'm thinking is if results are bad, you have a strong bearish candle, right? And what do I do with my strategy if I have a strong bearish candle? I catch a slight retracement and then I sell to continue with momentum. So reading even this in the journal, it makes sense because I wrote that NFP data follows the results and then recovers during the New York session. So recovery meaning it has like a slight reversal during New York session, and then later on in the day it continues. So previously, data fundamentals, the data should go based on how the fundamentals are, and then sometimes before New York session or during New York session you have a reversal. So how you can interpret that as well, if you want to wait, is just wait for whatever FOMC, NFP or CPI are going to do. Don't try to trade the news itself, and just wait. Take the reversal indicator, wait for the reversal. So that way you're kind of safer, because you might get an entry 1 hour after news. You might get an entry 30 minutes after news. You might get an entry 15 minutes after news, if that makes sense. So if you're not sure about how to trade the first 15 minutes or so of news, wait for the put on the reversal indicator, wait for that reversal and catch that. You're going to be more safer that way if you're not yet sure how to trade the news candle.
All right. So you know the reversal strategy. Do you know like manually? How do you do it manually? Have you covered that?
Yeah, so manually it's just the 9 EMA, right? So we need to wait for closure above the 9 EMA, and ideally you also want to wait for retest and closure above the 9 EMA. So my signal, what my indicator does, it takes away false positives in between a trend. But if you're trading it manually, you have to keep watching the chart and then wait for the next time price will be above or below the 9 EMA consistently based on whatever you're looking for. So if you're looking for a buy, you want to wait for price to be back above the 9 EMA consistently. If you're looking for a sell, you want to wait for price to be back below the 9 EMA consistently. And then you also want to avoid these huge candles. Avoid candles. If your threshold is 50 pips and you have one candle that's 25 pips by itself, don't consider that a trend. So make sure a trend should be something that has equidistant candles. So this right here, I wouldn't consider, even though we had a sell, I remember this came up yesterday, even though we had a sell here, to me, this is not a trend because you have 1, 2, 3 candles that are accounting for 90%. Now, this to me was a trend because all these candles are mostly equidistant. You don't have one huge candle that's accounting for like 30% or 50%, if that makes sense.
So during the heavy move, how long is the trend? Like how many pips does the trend like go for?
It depends, right? So for me, I don't care how long it goes for. I just want it to keep going, and meets my threshold. I've seen times when US 30 literally trends for 1,000 pips. I've seen times when US 30 during heavy news is not even going to trend at all. So for me nowadays, I'm actually loving trends. I'm looking for trends. I don't want consolidation. I don't want this short trends. I want something. So it might be 1 hour, might be 30 minutes, might be 4 hours, but of course, the longer the better, which is another reason why you can use this reversal indicator on higher time frames to swing trade. So the higher the trend on a higher time frame, the better the reversal would be. So for example, here, if we go on EU and we go on the hourly, you'll see you could have made money easily. Sell here. Give me 1 second. Buy and sell signals. I think this one I said 0, or is it 1? I think it's 1 for US 30. Anyway, I have to play with this. Close, I think, is what I use. I think it's something like that. Okay, no. Okay, so this is the hourly on EU. You can see some of this, right? Here I would want to see a no, there was a bunch of consolidation. So you have this sell at the top, even though this will probably need to be 1, because for me, I want a candle to close below. So this sell right here, you have this buy right here. So this is what I'm looking for. You see, because this is structure. This little sells and buys in here, price is consolidating. I'm not really interested in this ones right here. So personally, if I was trading this ones, this buy personally, I wouldn't have taken it, because this trend right here, 284, this is like a 40 pip trend. I wouldn't have taken that even on the hourly. But this buy right here, yes, I would have taken it, because this trend right here is 589 to, so this is about a 90 pips, say 70 pip trend. This is about I've taken. This sell I wouldn't have taken. Price was consolidating in and out of the 9 EMA. I wouldn't have taken that sell. This buy wouldn't have taken it. Wouldn't have taken this sell as well, because this trend itself is 238. I'll call it 250 to about 750. That's about 500, maybe, but I don't think, the reason I'm saying that is because I'm seeing this huge hourly candle. So same thing with the hourly, you don't want a huge candle accounting for like 40% or 30% of the move. Now, the other way to do this, if you wanted to catch this sell, I can see an early sell. I would come in here, and this is why I'm saying it takes a lot of backtesting and playing around with the settings. If I did 0 here, I would get a better entry at the top to account for this huge candle that's around here. Because again, whenever you see a trend and you see one candle accounting for like 30% of a move, ignore that or come in here and change the buy and sell delay to 0, so that you get a higher sell entry or buy or lower buy entry, if that makes sense. So let's see. This sell right here, would I have taken it? Yes, I would have taken it here, because I can see, what do I see here? Even just by calculating this 800 to 700, this is a 90 pip trend right here. So this is a sell I would have taken. If I would have taken this sell too, but I would have gotten stopped out. I would have taken this sell, because this trend, I'm pretty sure, is more than 50 pips. So at this point, I would have let stop loss get hit. And then when I got this sell right here, I think, and also this is a trade I took. Now, when I got this, or when I get this sell here, I go heavy. I go with a heavy lot size to recover the loss I made here, and also to make the profits I would have made. So this right here, this is a valid sell, because it's within the 50 pip range, but this one you'd have gotten stopped out. And then at that point, you just wait for the next sell. Price keeps going above the 9 EMA. You get a sell up here, go ahead, do an even bigger lot size. So I can automatically see easy trades that can be used for swing trading. Right, this is a perfect, even though you have these big candles up here. So here you come in here, change this to 0, possibly get an earlier buy, and there you go. Yeah, so it definitely, for this one, play around with all these 3 settings, find the sweet spot for you. So find a trend, make sure the trend does not have big candles that are accounting for like 50% of the move. If you have such candles that are accounting for 50% of the move, change the buy or sell delay to 0 to get an earlier entry or a safer entry. So, that's just something even right now I just learned. I didn't know that going, I mean, I knew what the 0 and 1 were doing, but I didn't know how we can apply it to trade when we have big candles in a trend. So it's just something that I've realized just for what, 5 minutes of back testing. So yeah, so understand what the buy and sell delay does, understand what the breakout pips do, understand what the breakout EMA does, understand what the source does. And once you do that, just backtest visually, and then you'll see, oh, like you'll see here, oh, hey, wait, this is a trend right here because point of interest was 525. This is a, actually, no, this wasn't a trend because this is like a 30 pip move. Which one was that? Which one is the one we did? This one right here, the sell. So this sell you'd have taken, it was a valid sell, but then you see we have this huge candle here that probably accounts for maybe 20% of the move. You come in there and say, either way you would have gotten stopped out of this sell, but you can see here you could have said, okay, I have a big candle in this trend, so let me set the delay to 0 so that I get a safer entry. You get a sell here. Either way you could have gotten stopped out, but you could have gotten a bigger sell up here. So if you see a big candle in a trend and the threshold is met, go ahead and change this to 0 and you'll get an earlier entry. So that's something we just discovered right now, just 5 minutes of visually testing or back testing. So hopefully that makes sense to you.
All right, just one more thing. So the last thing is, when you said FOMC minutes and FOMC press conference, there's a difference, right?
Yes, so the conference happens 30 minutes after the release and the federal funds rate, and normally that's what moves the market because they normally, or Jerome Powell, the chair of the Fed, talks about, yeah.
That guy that speaks, that Powell guy at 7:30, I think it's 2:30 for you. That guy that speaks, when he speaks here, the move happens. But the thing is, what's it called? So when he speaks, why is it that the move, it happens much later? If he speaks at 7:30, the move happened in the night, like around like 11, 12, like just spiked. The market closed and then went all the way to 2079.
So it's ideally manipulation. So one thing to consider when Powell speaks, so he's the chairman of the Fed, right? The Fed ideally controls monetary, or has a hand in monetary policy. And if you logically think about it, the Fed is not going to say things. Sometimes it does, sometimes it don't, but more times than not, they say things that are good for the US economy. So what do you expect when Jerome Powell speaks? You expect price to go up. So for example, you'd expect US 30 to go up, and you'd expect what the US dollar, I believe, to also go up. So you'd expect ideally a good reaction to the US economy. Now, in more times than not, the last few times he's spoken, price has gone down. But yes, the move. So, and that's why I love trading one day before heavy news, because there's normally a trend. So keep in mind, one day before the news, or a few either within a day before the news, they normally try to trap people in one direction. So one day before or some hours before the news, you'll see price trending in one direction. And what they normally try to do, they normally are trapping. So if price starts trending to the upside, they are trapping buyers, meaning price is more than likely going to sell after the news happens. So they're trapping buyers and saying, oh, go ahead. So they're trapping both ways, right? So they're trapping buyers and trapping sellers because sellers are trying to catch the top. Buyers are like, oh, wait, this thing is going up, I'm going to keep buying. So, if you were a market market maker, that's the best way to trap both people. So what happens when news happens? An hour or two before news, price dies down, no liquidity in the market. So you have buyers that are trapped, and then you have sellers that got faked out. So now they probably don't have enough liquidity or margin to catch the actual move. And then when the news happens, guess what happens? This sells take over. The sellers now, they miss the move because they try to catch the top too early. Buyers get burnt. So it's ideally just manipulating. And also after news, same thing happens before the market goes back to normal. And that's why, like this week, I've been trading this, all these accounts 24/7 with the EA. you can see, like, for example, this, other than now, when the drawdown right now is around 2,500, you can see the maximum drawdown I'd reached was 1,300, and max loss was around 380 per trade. I've traded this account through all news. I'm trading this account 24/7. So that's another reason why I don't care about trends anymore. I used to be scared of trends before when I was using other EAs, but nowadays I actually want to see trends happening because I'm more likely to make more money that way.
All right. So during this type of news, how do you trade it? Like, during the FOMC, were you still in the trade, or did you just close it?
You mean like today or what?
Nah,
What particular trade?
Was it on Wednesday? You know, when FOMC happened, were you still trading?
Yes, yeah. I caught FOMC trades. FOMC was when Wednesday, I think. So this would be, I think I did. What was the date for Wednesday? Wednesday the 3rd. Maybe I didn't. Oh, I did, and I didn't post it because I only normally post results that I take on here. Oh wait, I was on vacation. Yeah, I was on vacation. Yeah. So no, I didn't trade Wednesday because I was on vacation. But if I was to trade, I would have traded. Actually, never mind. I traded another account, a 300K account I have, but I didn't post it on here. Yeah, but I just did the same thing. I did the same thing I would do while trading news.
All right. And one more thing. What's that called? The other red folder news that happens like nearly every week. Like
Thursday.
unemployment,
Yeah.
unemployment claims. Unemployment claims and stuff like that. If you're when you said if you're in a supply zone and you're in a cell, if you're in a cell in a supply zone and there's like something like unemployment claims or ADP, you just let it run.
Yeah,
right?
I'm not gonna close it. Yeah.
All right. And if it's in a demand zone and you're in a buy, you'd let that run.
Yes.
But if you're in a sell in a demand zone, you close it.
Yes, correct.
Or set a break even.
Yes, yeah.
All right, yeah. All right. Yeah. And what's that? Yeah, you said on gold you would look for is it 150 pips? Like that's a trend.
Yes, correct.
And so when you said 50 pips, what do you mean by that? That's not a trend for gold.
No. So remember, there's two things, right? 150 is what you're marking up on the chart. It's not related to the indicator. 50 is what goes into the indicator. So that's the difference, right? Because
All right, yeah.
so that's the difference. So 50 here for US 30, 500 on the chart for US 30. 50 in the indicator for US 30, 500 on the chart for US 30. 50 in here for gold in the indicator, 150 on the chart for gold. 30 to 40 in the indicator for FX pairs, 50 on the chart for FX pairs. So remember, when using the reversal, there's two sets of you have the settings for the indicator, and then you have the setup for the chart. So remember, while using the reversal strategy, you have to put the settings into the indicator, and you also have to put your own markups on the chart itself. So that's the difference between the two.
All right, yeah. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right. Any other person has anything? All right. So let's see. So we are about time. Not sure if we have. Okay, so we'll go over this last 6 questions, and then I can take any last questions. So last 6 questions. Let's see. So and then Monday we'll start all over again with the first 6, and then we'll be doing this daily until we find some improvement in our trading. So if you are granted a wish to be able to instantaneously acquire one trading skill, what skill would you choose? So, that's not an agree or disagree question, but, just think about it. So there's a lot, right? There's psychology, there's discipline, there's analysis or whatnot. So just think of all the skills that you've learned while trading, or skills that you're struggling with, and then work on that. So whether it's psychology, whether it's whatnot, just think of what you need help with, and then just start working on that. Also, I don't know if Desire's in here. Desire, I know we talked about, is Desire in here? I told Desire to put sticky note on his monitor to stick to your strategy. So I'd want to hear if he's had any improvements. Okay, 26. I often spend sleepless nights worrying about the market. I used to, I give you guys examples that I used to put my phone on do not sleep because I was like, hey, if I'm gonna sleep, or if I'm not gonna sleep, my phone is not gonna sleep. Because I was in a trade that I was over leveraging, and then I would get into a trade, I'm in drawdown. At night, I'm in drawdown. In the morning, I'm in drawdown. So, but nowadays, I enter, you guys have seen it on the live session. I enter into a trade and I keep analyzing the market. Whatever happens, happens, right? Because to me, the trade makes sense. So, and I'm comfortable, I'm not over leveraging. So this whole time, right, I haven't come back to look at the NZD CHF trade. So it could have easily hit stop loss, but it's back around break even. So right now when I enter a trade, I have a set TP, set stop loss. So, but trust me, I used to be one of those people that I was, I couldn't even go to the gym because normally I go to the gym at 5 a.m. in the morning, but I used to hate it because sometimes I used to hate it and not even focus on working out or even leave the gym early because I would be in drawdown. And then when I'm at the gym, when I should be ideally working out, I'm out there worrying about trades. So definitely proper money management, risk management, and you'll be fine. 27, do you ever feel compelled to make a trade because you're afraid that you might miss out? Yes, I used to be that way, right? Trying to chase something. But now I have all these instruments. I have a breakout scanner. I have a reversal. So in any case, right now, I can just be trading with limit orders. So I used to be that way. Fear of missing out, FOMO, definitely made me lose a lot of money. And that's another reason why I have this sticky note on my computer to stick to my strategy. Although it doesn't happen very often, I really like my trades to be perfect. When I make a perfect call, it feels so good that it makes up for all the times that I don't. So it definitely feels good to have we've had no drawdown trades. Recently, we've had a couple of trades going to drawdown or hit stop loss, but we did have a good run where trades were no drawdown. And I, of course, went over some of the reasons why I might have dropped the ball on that for some of the trades that hit stop loss, because sometimes I forgot to ask myself, and this is why I tell you guys, ask yourself, we have 3 confluences to enter any, before you click buy or sell, ask yourself, where is the trend line? Where is the 9 EMA? Where is the high low? Okay, is my entry around any of these high areas? If not, do not execute the trade. Wait for price to get back to some of those zones before you enter, or at least one of those zones. And then ask yourself, of all these 3 confluences, which would offer me the best entry? So that's how I was able to get, that's how I'm still able to do no drawdown trades at times, because I always ask myself, where is the best place? And that way, you see, like US30 right now, we could have easily jumped in, but does it make sense for us? No, because this is just FOMO, because we don't want to get left out by the market. So that's why this thing is still here. I'm saying, I don't care how far US30 comes back up, my entry is right here. So US30 can go all the way up here if it wants, but this is my entry. I'm not changing it for now. The only time I'd consider changing this entry is if this golden cross materializes. But it makes sense that price will come back down for this golden cross to materialize. So having all these confluences and indicators, there's no need to do. But if you're still struggling with FOMO or feeling that you need your trades to be perfect, you're not doing anything wrong. It's perfectly normal. It's perfectly it's the journey. So you just need to work on it, and then in a month, in a week, in 2 weeks, you'll be a better trader. 29, do you ever find yourself planning trades you never execute and executing trades you never planned? Yeah, I've done this before. Same thing I always talk about. It's so easy to, I think Audrey once took or Audrey and we took a demo from like 100,000 to 17 million. But right when we were first starting to get funded, we blew all those accounts. So it's easy when you don't have any money involved. And it's easy to just say, I could have shooters. Like today, I said, if I didn't close those buys on US30 that I took during NFP, I would have made a ton of money, but I don't care. I came back to break even because I had the USD CAD loss yesterday. So it's, I never made that amount of money. So case closed. That's the end of it. No need to say I could have made it. If you find yourself you're still struggling with that, there's nothing wrong. It is perfectly normal. You just have to work on your psychology. And my job here is to give you guys, to teach you guys and to give you guys instruments that will help you become a better trader, preferably even better than me. And also, so for example, like the year I'm developing, give you guys, if you've been struggling to get funded, if you're still struggling to be profitable, even manually trading, maybe give you guys an avenue where you can get a quick, or you can get easily funded through me. And then, you go from there and whatnot. Yeah, so my job is to teach you and then to give you to provide tools for you to easily get funded or maintain funding, and improve your psychology. 29, do you ever find yourself planning? Oh, we went over that. 30. So this is up to you, right? In a few sentences, explain why most traders either don't make money or aren't able to keep what they make. Now, for this one, instead of saying, instead of writing a few sentences down, if you're still struggling to be profitable, write down myself, right? So simplest thing, write down your name, and then go back and say, why am I struggling to be profitable? Is it because I'm over leveraged? Now start fixing that. So don't focus on other traders. Think of, if you're still struggling on being consistent and funded, or trying to get funded, write down your name down there and then be honest with yourself. Go back and say, do I take trades that make sense to me, right? Am I FOMOing? Am I over leveraging? Do I have a set risk before I enter any trade? Do I know where my stop loss is? Do I know where my TP is? Just be honest with yourself. And I said to you guys, treat this as any school you've ever been to, or any job that you've ever been to. Personally, for me this year, my goal, I'm max funded with about 2 prop firms. My goal for the next 3 or so months, especially when this EA is out, I'll just be going prop to prop and maxing out on the funding. Yeah, so that's my goal. I definitely want to take you guys on the journey with me, because you guys have been supportive. Thank you to those of you who have subscribed or showed interest in subscribing. Again, you don't need to subscribe in any of these instruments to make money with me. You can make money easily by the trades I take online. I'm sorry, on the live session, as you can see here. But I definitely, because I've been there, I've blown, I think I've lost, I think I even stopped counting, but overall, I think I lost maybe about 20K and up, or at least, let me put, because the very first time I started, I remember I started with 15K and I blew it in like a month or a few weeks. And then over that, the challenges that I've blown over time are probably maybe another 15K or something. So you can do the math, but don't feel bad. You've seen the profits I make. There's no amount of money you can ever lose in trading that you can never get back once you stick to being disciplined and consistent. You can even lose 50 grand, and the one day you get funded, you max out, you have a 600K account, 500K account, you catch a trade for 10K or 5 trades for 10K in like 3 months, you have your 50K that you lost over a period of 3 years. So think of the money that you've lost as just the tuition you had to pay to learn, and then you'll be good on that. Last but not least, I don't know if Ruben, is it Ruben or Joe? Ruben, I don't know if you're still in here. I know you sent something in the chat. Yeah, you can reach out to me. Yeah, reach out to me on Discord if you're on our Discord, and just let me know what you need. And yeah, so for you guys, if you do see other strategies out here, and you want to partner together with me, definitely feel free to reach out. I'm always up for learning. I hate starting a new week when I'm not learning anything. And that's how I'm able to develop all this, all these strategies, all these indicators. I'm able to develop them week after week, because after, every week I try to look for, okay, what new strategy can I develop? At this point, after the EA is done, I'll be just coming down and then just consolidate all these strategies, and then just take a chill pill for a few months, and then focus on maxing out on maybe 5 more prop firms. But I'll do that on the live session. I'll show you guys each and every step. I'm showing you guys the 250K challenge, and this is the new E8 have a new challenge model that's twice So phase one is 60 days. Phase two is 120 days. So I've already made what at this point, I think I'm up 5K or 4K. Let me see. I'm up as of today, I'm up 4,200. So and that's just in what 6 days. So if I have 60 days, I'm definitely gonna make, fingers crossed, but I'm hoping to make that 8% real quick. And then after E8, I think the max funding on E8 is 300K. So after this 250K, I had an account with them, but I lost it. It was one of my YOLO accounts. So I'm starting off over again with them. So after I'm done with this, as soon as I pass phase one, I'll buy the 50K so that I can be max allocated. As soon as this one goes into phase two, I buy another 50K, start over. The next one I'm doing, I think right now I'm working on being max funded with MFF. I have max funding with FTMO. Even though I lost it, right now I'm on phase two of my new challenge with FTMO. But I do have other accounts with. I have an account with this company called Fund Your FX. It's just instant funding. I got in with them a few like last year. I have other accounts with other. I don't even know. I have too many accounts, and then I also have my live account. So anyway, I'll hopefully I can take you guys on this journey with me. Does anybody have any questions or any feedback or anything they're struggling with that they need assistance on?
Oh, bro. You
Mhm.
know the trading session. How do
Mhm.
we check? Can you just check can you just convert the time, like for example, you know the website that you said that
Yeah,
you could
Forex Factory.
yeah. No. You know the trading session for like Asian and London, whatever, and then convert it to the time in your country.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Do you know like a website that shows that?
Oh,
Because I tried to do it on Baby Pip. You know Baby Pip?
yeah, I know Baby Pips.
Yeah. And like I don't know, it doesn't really convert.
So what I would say is, so Asia session starts what, like 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I would say right now, just go on Google and see, in any case, if anybody else has any better way of doing it. But what I would do if, like, when I was away on vacation, I would see the time in so Eastern Standard Time is like New York. So the time in New York, right, right now. And then I would do, so if I'm at a place where right now, maybe I was at a place where it's what is it,
Oh
10:18.
yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
So
And
you
then
just you do like 2:30 or 2, and then you just put it into like GMT or something like that.
yeah, I guess that's one way to do it. The way I do it is just I see the time at a place where I'm supposed to be, or that, like right now, if I was to go on vacation, everything for my computer is set for New York time. So for me to know what time it would be in whatever country I'm in, I would just do the time in New York right now, and then I just do the difference, and then I know. I don't know if you're getting what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah,
Probably not. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, that's what I
I
would.
get it.
That's how I would do it. Yeah.
So you use New York's time and just convert it to the country's time that you're in.
Yes,
Is,
because for
is
me,
that
I
what you
use,
do?
yeah, and like for me,
Yeah.
I'm on the East Coast, so I don't have to convert if I'm already here. But if I go to another country, I'm gonna use the New York time or EST time. So, or EST, you can do EST time right now. Because keep in mind, even on Baby Pips, keep in mind every trading time. So whether it's the Asia session, New York session, London session, all those times are based off of EST times.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why the EST time is very key for you to know how many hours ahead are you from it, or how many hours are you behind it from it. And that way you'll just be knowing, okay, I'm 5 hours ahead of EST. So anything that I'm seeing here, I just need to minus 5 hours, if that makes sense.
All right. Thank you, bro.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else have anything?
I had a question, but I think you answered it already. I'm thinking about it. Let's say you're trying to look for a reversal on I don't know, EU, and it went 60 pips, and it didn't work out for you. You stopped out. Now you don't try to go back in on that time frame. You just go to a higher time frame, like an
Correct.
hour.
Yeah.
All right.
And then another thing I noticed is that, so let me go back to that. What did we get stopped at? USD CAD. So USD CAD. Now here's another thing you can do, right? So here we got stopped out on the 5 minute. On the 5 minute, reset this. This is where we entered. Another thing, you can draw your trend lines. So draw your trend lines. What chart has a trend line? So USD CAD, let me do this. USD CAD on the 5 minute right here. We got stopped out right here. So here, what you can do, come in here, draw your trend line, and then even though you want to enter on the same time frame, use the trend lines as re-entry. So here, this is where we got stopped out yesterday. We entered into the buy up here, price melted back down to the downside. So we have a static trend line that's already established to the upside. So for any buys we should enter right here is when this trend line price closes above, retests, and closes above. So you can still use the same time frame, but look at this. If you don't want to use the higher time frame, and you get stopped out on the 5 minute time frame, draw your trend lines from where you got stopped out, and then use those trend lines to get up or to re-enter the position. So you can see here, there was definitely buys that came up. However, there's at no time that, let me draw this again properly. So it's from this to this. At no time during those buys. So here, even right now, right? We can re-enter this position if we get a closure above this trend line on the 5 minute, if it happens before the buy signal on the 1 hour. But if price is going to come all the way back up here, we're going to have gotten a buy signal on the 1 hour. But yesterday, and I didn't do this. So this is why this is why I'm waiting for that EA, because it uses all my confluences at once. So you can see right here, right? We entered the buy, we got stopped out. Okay, we draw the trend line from the downside, draw the static trend line also to the upside, and then say, okay, I got stopped out. Price can still come back. I think we got stopped out a little bit further down because it was 50 pips. So 50 pips was about 326. Was all the way down here. Okay, so let's say this is where 50 pips was. So you say that I have this established trend line on the higher time frame. So for me to re-enter a buy on the same time frame, I'll wait for a buy signal when price closes above this established trend line, right? So if you did that, you know, these buys that showed up here would not have been making sense to you. They would have been invalid because you're waiting for a buy to show up when price closes above this trend line. And as we've seen, there's no one-time price went above and closed above that trend line. You see what I mean? So you can either go to the 1 hour time frame, or if you get stopped out on the 5 minute, go ahead and draw your trend lines and then just wait for price to close above or below, and you get your buy or sell signal there. Hopefully that makes sense. Right? Livy? I don't know if you're still here. Yeah, but that's another way you can re-enter on the same time frame if you get stopped out on a reversal. Draw your trend lines and you'll never go wrong with this. So you can see the importance of these confluences. They save you from all these fake buys that were showing up. So hopefully that makes sense. Anybody else with a question?
Bro. Yeah, so you know there's supply and demand, the indicator. And with the indicator, it literally shows you, so it's gonna draw up, it's gonna print the zones, you know, the demand and supply.
Which indicator?
Like it's just some other supply demand I bought from somewhere else, or someone else before. This is like 2 years ago. Maybe like 2 years ago.
Wait, for me? Oh, are you
No,
talking
no,
about?
not from me. Yeah, I just bought it from someone else.
Okay,
And
gotcha.
So, yeah. So it shows you like it prints the zone for you. I'm sure you've used them, and it shows you like the volume. You get it? Like the volume, like how many people are actually buying the set. Yeah. So of course, like the strategy or the what's it called, the indicator is just a I mean, it's a strategy, but you can't just like, I'm sure you know, you can't just enter like if it just shows your buy. Of course, like you said, you
Mhm.
use your confidence, but then you said on the hourly, you know, the hourly.
The
Would you
hourly,
look for, yeah, what would you look for, like, because on the hourly, like on the hourly, it shows that it usually shows the most volume. But what would you look for?
So on the hourly, right? So how do I use the hourly when trading? So the hourly, I normally draw my trend lines, right? So whether it's on the hourly or whether it's on the 5-minute, I draw my trend lines. So here on USD CAD, that's number one, right? So that's the trend line. This, I don't have an established trend line to the upside, but this is a hanging trend line because I'm almost sure this is going to be established as a lower high. But we have a established or static trend line on the downside. We have a hanging trend line to the upside. So that's number one. Number two, what do I do when I go on high time frames? I look at structure. So automatically I see this, right? I drew this earlier. Bottom, shot up, came back down neckline, came back up here, went back. So, you know, they love completing structures. So I expect your sticker to probably come to 1.33296, but before then, it doesn't mean that it's just going to be a waterfall. It might be, but you know, it might not be. So what's the next area for that? So I did talk about this high-low area. This was the next point of structure, but you know, we've seen that price is melting again to the downside. What's the next point of structure that it can reject from? Around 1.33825. So that's what I'll be looking. So if you're talking about those supply and demands, I would be looking at the supply and demand zones that line up with my trend lines and supply and demand zones that line up with any structure that I see towards the left, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but that makes sense.
Okay.
I got a question, Michael. Have you thought of finding any programmers that could set up your own indicator that's like Lux Algo, where it creates the supply and demand zones?
That's a good question. I did bring it up to my coder. It's the thing with that is the complexity. So same thing about the EA, like a lot of moving parts. But I did bring it up to him. Well, he hasn't started working on it. But right now I'm just focusing on some of these things first. But it's definitely something that I've considered. But it was something that was definitely going to be pretty expensive.
Yeah,
But
only reason I'm suggesting that, right? Because naturally the three instruments you trade, you have your markups for. So when you get these reversal indicators, that's an extra confluence. But with everything else, we don't have that. That's all I was saying. You
yeah,
can't depend on one person to do markups for every single, you know what I mean? So if you had an indicator that does it, then
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I'll see. Mhm. Yeah. I need to think about that logic, but yeah, it's definitely something I've talked to them about. But you know, some of these assets or some of these other instruments have, you know, become high priority. But yeah, so hopefully the same way the EA is pretty much everything that I trade or every strategy that I trade, I can have that indicator coming up maybe later. But we'll see. But yeah, thanks for bringing it up. But yeah, it's something I've definitely considered. And as you say, doing markups for all these instruments is definitely, you know, manual and all of that. But, you know, it would be helpful to have an indicator where you can place it on any time frame and it does everything. So yeah, we'll see. Any other questions? Okay, perfect. If not, I will see you guys here on Monday. Monday, we will have our markups ready and we'll be good to go. Did anybody have any question? No?
Yeah, bro. One more
Mhm.
thing.
When do you reckon
Yeah,
the subscription will be sorted out?
So it will be sorted. So I need to I was having one of my banks call me today, but I don't think they have. I can try PayPal. I think PayPal also offers those merchant services. I can do crypto or what the reason right now I don't want to do direct payments to me is because I have a separate. So this club is not just a club; it's its own company. So I want to keep things separate from myself and whatnot. But I will work on it
Yeah.
today. Worst case scenario, I can set up PayPal, the PayPal checkout system. But hopefully, let's say I should have something on Monday, because I can definitely do Zelle and everything, but I really want to separate business transactions from my personal accounts. But that's my priority. So like literally when I get off the call, that's what I'll go and venture out to next. If anybody knows any other merchants out there, because I know other traders out there have like subscription services. I know there's Buy Me a Coffee, there's but I want to use something that's, something that's not to say that all these others are not legitimate, but I want to use something that's has a good reputation, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a platform called Walk. I'll send it to you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Did anybody else have any question?
Yeah, bro. So when you said, your EAs, yeah, how many EAs have you got? Is it two? Is it three?
You say how many EAs?
Yeah, EAs. How many have you got? Like,
Oh,
do you use?
I've used a lot. Are you talking about
No,
my own or EAs that?
yeah, I mean, like currently, right now.
Oh, just for me, mine.
Yeah,
Just
the
yeah.
ones that you're offering.
Oh, just one. I'm not. Yeah, I'm just only gonna like this EA it's literally hands-free, not gonna need any input. It's just set and forget. Yeah, I don't think I'll build any other EA or I'll have any other EA build.
Yeah. So the
Yeah.
thing is this though. Let's say you've got like your account size is like 10K or 20K.
Mhm.
Would the would your stop loss or the drawdown be for the EA like 50%?
So honestly, right
50%
now,
of the account size.
do you mean like a live account or like a challenge?
Any really, like any that you can run on the EA.
So right now, this 250K and even the other FTMO ones I showed you and MFF, I have a daily drawdown of 3%. It hasn't like literally this is a 250K challenge. Other than now when the account is down 2,500 because of there was some spike and slippage, 2,500 for 250K, what's that? That's even barely, I don't even know, because 5% for 250K, the max daily drawdown here is 12,500. So you can see it's pretty low. But normally if I'm using this
Oh,
EA, yeah.
I
So
see what you're saying. So, for funded accounts, you can't go past that. What's it called? The drawdown limit is
the
the
drawdown, yeah.
percentage, like the
Yeah.
8%, or you say you're using 5%. But on a what's it called? On a personal account, what would you do that
On a
in terms of drawdown?
on a personal account right now, I don't have any drawdown set on my personal account. I have this EA running on a 3K account. Right now, this is the highest DD I've been in. It's like $200. I've made like 700 in 1 month. And I'm being conservative. I'm using 0.01 lot sizes. It's only because it's somebody else's account. I have a $1,500 account that's mine. And that one, same thing. The drawdown right now on the $1,500, I think this is the highest. It's like 153. So that's what, like 10% or something. Yeah, but I don't for this one. So number one, my EA is a hedging EA. So hedging EAs are definitely if made well, they're definitely because the way the EA is working, it's moving from one area of liquidity to another. Simple, which is what market makers do. So I'm not really worried about drawdown. The only issue that can come into drawdown is if the EA fails to catch a trend. On the other hand, the issue with a bunch of EAs is that if the trend is going up, especially martingale, the EA keeps getting into sales. My EA doesn't do that. So that's the major thing about, and that's what's keeping my drawdown low, because if the trend is up, my EA is just going to keep buying. If the trend shifts, it either closes if the trend shifts to a downside and I'm in buys, it either closes them or leaves them open. If it leaves them open, it's not going to get into any other buys. It's just going to keep trading with the trend while using all the confluences we've developed. So yeah, so right now I'm not worried about drawdown for now. I'm trying to push it to the limit. The next step will be using Bitcoin and US 30. Yeah, but right now I'm not worried about drawdown for now. given I've traded it past NFP, FOMC, everything, and you know, everything has been
All
making
right,
sense.
so yeah. So when you said you know, like the what's it called, the ECA, yeah.
Mhm.
When you trade it during like heavy news, like, it's gonna keep opening positions again and again.
No.
How would it survive?
Oh, my ear. No, it's not going to keep opening
Yeah.
positions again and again. So today, for example, for this account, let me see if I can give you guys a screenshot of today. Today, for this E8 account, because right now I'm in EU cells. I'm sorry, I'm in EU. Yeah, I'm in EU cells. So when the sell took over, it wasn't getting into buys. It was only getting into sells. So let me show you guys this. So this is the updated, let's see if I can get this just right. Okay. Let me take a screenshot of this. So this is the account dashboard as of today. Perfect. Hopefully it doesn't have any of my personal info. Okay, yeah, I don't think it does. Okay, so let me share this with you guys. No, actually, I'll just post it in the group. That's easier because I don't want to keep stopping and sharing. All right. David's metrics. Okay, so this is the updated metrics. So you can see today, I was up 1.55 on the other one. So I made what, 0.25 between the last time I did it. You can see now, this is what I was mentioning. This is the max loss right now, because right now I'm down about 2,400. So it went up a little bit. You can see it's just been going up since day one. So I traded news today. I don't know if it tells you the most traded instrument, probably, I think it's somewhere down there. Today I was in EU and it was just taking sales on EU. So that's why I wasn't trapped into buys for EU when the price was trending down. Now, you know, the thing is, price did come back for EU, but what would have happened if price kept going down? So I'm not worried. So my EA, ideally, think of me if I was to trade 24/7. So with all my confluences, that is what my EA uses. So for me, I don't care whether a trade hits TP or stop loss. If it does, let it hit. So that's what my EA does. I only trade trends or reversals. That is what my EA does.
All right, so that's how you would trade in real life, right?
Yes. If I were to trade 24/7, this is how I would trade. And you can see the same way I do this growth curve is similar to this thing, right? On the live session, if we were to draw a growth curve for every week that we've traded, our growth curve would ideally be pointing to the upside. So this is the same thing, right? So I say you can make this up because the way I designed it is the way I would trade. So and you guys, these results you've seen on the live session. So same thing with this EA. These are the same results. So yeah. Any other question?
No,
All right.
bro. Thanks.
Okay, perfect. Let's see the chat. You could use Cash App to start through. Yeah, I know the thing with Cash App. Yeah, I thought of it too. But I know Cash App is only in the US, if I'm not wrong. I don't think Cash App is outside the US. So that's another issue because we do have people here who are not within the US. So Cash App would
Do you
only work.
have an EIN number yet for the company?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, well, you could set it up. You could set the Cash App up through your EIN with the company name, and then you could set up crypto to be able to be taken through that Cash App. So it'd be going through the company. So that's a way to have it just like a band-aid for now, basically.
Okay. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Oh, the only thing, the crypto taxes on you know, since this new administration introduced those weird crypto taxes are pretty heavy, especially if I'm gonna cash out before 1 year. You pay like, I would pay more than I would pay in income tax, but I guess that's another conversation I can have with my accountant. But yeah, that's a good one I can do in the meantime. Okay, we'll see. I'll think about it in the next few hours as I find something else. Any other person have any question to go over?
Yeah, bro.
Mhm.
For American,
I'm sorry?
I think, for Americans,
Mhm.
you don't have to pay tax everywhere in the world.
You say you have to pay tax what?
You have to pay tax for everywhere. Like whatever you earn, if you're American, you have to pay tax, right?
Yeah,
Like, even
ideally.
if you sign up for a Forex account, and if you tell me you're a US citizen, you have to pay tax.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
Yeah, that's a bit.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions? Okay. All right. I will see you guys on Monday. I'll give you any updates that I find out regarding the payment thing is. But other than that, see you guys on Monday. Thank you to everybody. I hope you guys had a good trading week even without me. Talk to you guys on Monday. Bye.